So I just turned the camera off while Matt was cleaning out his crankshafts, and there was actually, because he gets these shafts ISO polished, they plug off the galleries with like a little rubber plug, and he didn't really care too much for recording this, but I thought, well, if someone like myself is putting an engine together and you miss this, it could cost you an engine. So these things came out of the gallery.
Do you want me to explain a little bit more?
Yeah.
Okay, so what they do is this is like a bigger tapered sort of plug, and then they stick it in the oil gallery like that, and they plug every gallery, so when the polishing media runs over the journal surface, it doesn't go inside the crankshaft, because that's a lot harder to get out most of the time, because it's like ceramic beads. I've actually got some here up on my shelf of goodies. Here's some here. So these are some of the other products I've pulled out of crankshaft journals before. So these are the polishing beads that they use, which are like ceramic.
Wow, that's a big one, man. That would have fit.
That was in an oil gallery.
Wow.
Yeah. So these are the sorts of things you find inside the components when you get them back. And I didn't really think of much to film of it, but Nico did make the comment, like he said, it's probably good to show people sort of the process that I go through maybe. I don't know if we've covered this on camera before, but one of the things that I do is I actually use a airline like this, and it's got a rubber taper cone on the end of it. And the good part about that is when you actually put it into the journal, it doesn't damage anything. And one of the things you do is you just sort of put your finger over the bottom journal, and I won't do this on camera because it'll just distort all the audio. But if you pull the airline now, you'll actually get air running out of these two journals. If that journal from the main journal is blocked up to the big end gallery, you won't have air come out. So your oil's got to do that. And I could hear that there was something in this journal, and it was from main journal 4 up to rod bearing 4. And I could hear something was in there. And then I'll just look through the hole, and you could see it jammed in there. So I actually pushed it out with a little pin tool. I just pushed it out and just kept working it until it come out, until the flow was correct. And once that's there, your journals are clean.
So even if you can't see it, you got to listen.
You got to listen. You got to use all your senses. Building an engine and tuning cars and all sorts. You just got to use all your senses: sight, smell, feel. You just got to use them all, because you can't rely on any one particular sense. You have to sort of, smell burning, the car's on fire, you hear knock, you see fire, see issues. So you just got to use all your senses. And like you say, I'm sort of just detuned to a lot of that stuff. So that's just sort of normal for me to find, stuff inside journals. And as I'm cleaning engines, it's sort of one of the procedures that I just go through. It's just sort of a non-consequential thing to me. Yeah. Most aftermarket components like crankshafts will actually have removable oil gallery plugs. They're actually here in the end. Toyota seal these up, and they're very difficult to remove. So it's actually a ball bearing pressed in, and then they peen the end over so they actually can't come out. So it is difficult to clean these crankshafts. Aftermarket crankshafts will have a screw-in gallery plug. But again, although being a brand new crankshaft, it should internally be clear of any debris because the engine hasn't been running an engine. One of the other things that factory crankshafts have is the distance between the oil gallery from here up to this journal. You've got a distance from the center line of here up to the plug. So this section between my finger and thumb here, that acts as like a reservoir for old engine oil and debris and grit. So if you're running a second-hand crankshaft and you want to clean it, you do really have to remove these plugs and brush the gallery out.
You did that with Merle's, like the Atlantic crank
yes.
that you had like pipe cleaners.
Yes, I got little pipe cleaners. I've just got one here. I'll just grab one. So I've got different size pipe cleaners for different jobs. This one's my main oil gallery. This one's pretty worn out. This is probably bin time for this one. I do have another one somewhere, but I don't know where it is. This is the one that I would normally use for oil gallery cleaning, for cylinder heads, oil or crankshafts, and the galleries down to the mains. So your main gallery here down through to the oil gallery from the rod, the crank journal, up into the main gallery, which is here. Yep. And then this one, I would have run this through the block before I sealed it up. So this would run the whole length of the block, and then you brush that out. You'd be surprised the amount of grit and dirt and grime that gets stuck in these motors. One of the things that I do see is guys will get their motors back from machine shops and think they're ready to assemble. They're totally not. They're filthy. During the machining process, you're cutting metal, there's honing material, metal slurry in powdered form and dirt form. So you have to remove your main oil galleries and clean the blocks vigorously through that, because one of the things you'll find is all that grit and material is through your main oil gallery, and you build your engine. As soon as you start it, the oil pressure comes through and pushes all that debris straight through your bearings, and it's engine over, and it's just started. So seen that plenty of times from other shops and builders who have put motors together without vigorously cleaning their engines. Nissan RB engines, they actually have pressed in gallery plugs. You have to drill and tap the gallery plug, put a socket over it, and then actually draw the gallery plug out. So when I see RB engines and someone tells me, oh, it's a built engine, and I look down at the gallery plugs and they're all original steel and they're not made of bronze or alloy or an aftermarket material, I think to myself, whoever built that engine didn't do a good enough job because they didn't clean it properly. So those engines don't normally last. So just some of the ways that you figure out as an engine builder or machinist, you know, who's doing the right job, you know, if the process is right. And
it's funny because it's like it's normal to you.
Yeah.
But for someone like me, or like I'm sure like a lot of the viewers would be like, you know, the thought would never cross your mind. It would just be like, just whack it together. So, I
can definitely see how that'll be a thing. Yeah. But like you say, to me, it's
like second nature.
It's just normal. Yeah, it's just like, yeah, you brush your oil galleries, clean the block. But like you say, anytime you get a block or a head or anything back from a machinist, unless it's a cylinder head that's literally ready to bolt on and it's clean and it's ready to go, it's consider it filthy. If someone has assembled a short motor and handed it back to your machine shop and the short motor's assembled, you would consider it clean because you would hope that they have done the job properly and cleaned everything before they'd assembled it. This is half the reason assembly work does cost a bit, because it's the time and effort involved in actually cleaning absolutely every square mil of the block, making sure it's all clean, because contamination is a big killer of engines. Hence why I have a nice clean room here to assemble engines in, and I wouldn't do it in the dirt unless I was at the racetrack and it's desperate.
Well, that'll be it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any engine related questions that you'd like to ask Matt, leave them down in the comment section. And next time I'm in the workshop with Matt, I'll fire up the camera. And as long as your questions are relevant, I'll be sure to ask him and we'll be making a video on it. So head on down to that comment section, leave us a question, and we might just answer it in the next video. And while you're there, don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks, guys.